record. I want to share. Oh, I ain't share it. That's why. So I want to share my screen. Now y'all should be able to see it.
Benny.
Okay. Got it now. Okay. Just want to make sure y'all can see. All right. So I give them a minute or two.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Is TT Lola payments are due?
I'll talk about it because the schedule for December is going to be a little different. And then, yeah, I'll discuss it. Because I'll be gone, so for 2 weeks. I'll be gone till January, so got plenty of time. All right, I'm about to get going because see it's 7:30. All right, let's go. For the sake of time, hope everybody enjoyed their family day. So what I want to start off with, I want you guys, I have this Wordle up, and I just want you to look at it. And just in your honest opinion, is there anything spiritually that comes out of this Wordle? And if it is, it's okay. And if not, it's okay. So it's not a right or wrong, but I just want you to look at it for a second and tell me, does anything spiritual resonate with you when you look at the words in this Wordle?
What are you talking about? Words on the screen here?
Uh-huh.
Feminine.
The word feminine is not up there. You gotta do any of
You
these.
said a word or oh.
Use it like do any of the words in this little Wordle speak spirituality to you? That's what I'm asking. Like, when I see like the biggest word on there, of course, is breast. Is there anything about that word that takes you to, when you see these words, does any of these words take your mind straight to spirituality in any shape or form?
The moon.
No, not me.
Moon and witch.
So I heard moon. A couple of people said moon. Okay.
Witch.
Okay.
Vulture, but I don't think that was spelled correctly.
I might have it wrong.
Oh, you did that? I'm sorry. I don't mean to criticize. But vulture, yeah.
Okay. What else? Yeah, it's supposed to be VULTURE. My bad. All right, so now I'm gonna ask you part two of this question. Does any of this, just based on what you know, little or a lot, does any of this, if you saw this, would your mind immediately go to Osun?
No.
No.
But I can see why you say that at what accent.
What was the question again? What was the question again?
I'm asking that the moment you see this, would your mind immediately go to Osun?
It all depends on how well you know Osun.
I would say yes. Some of the words do remind me of Osun.
What words?
I would probably say more like vulture as a bird, breast, moon, and witch.
Okay. All right. Okay, so good thinking. It's a good thinking process. I'm gonna debunk some of them, of course. Y'all know I will debunk some of them. So I'm gonna go to a new share. I'm gonna come here. Hold on. Yeah, some of those I will debunk. So I'm gonna start today because obviously we're gonna talk about Osun today. Start with a song. But before we even talk about the song, if you look at the meaning of the song, and the reason why I don't have English by this one, because it means the same, the meaning doesn't change until the third line. So the first, second, and the fourth line mean the same, which is Osun sits at the top. And then you have the line here that means our mother has become the moon. And I think we talked about when we were talking about Oludumare one day, we talked about that whole essence of the moon and its purpose to the universe. But the song goes, it's Oshun le tente we, Oshun le tente wa, Oroki lo supa, Oshun le tente, Oshun le tente we, Oshun le tente wa, Oroki lo supa, Oshun le tente. So in essence, what the song is talking about, or shown as a spiritual, just like a prowess or someone that is very powerful, someone that is on a higher plane, or like when you think about hierarchy, so someone that's superior, but it's speaking up from a spiritual standpoint. So it's speaking of Oshun in a very superior essence. And so when I look at these words, and I'm going to show you in a minute where these words came from. Even the vulture with the bird, okay, yeah, I get that. The moon, yeah, I get that. And when I think of someone referring to the essence of Shun like wet nurse, that's problematic for me because of the I'm not just saying that to be a wet nurse is not a good, noble job. I guess it is, but to decrease, we know historically that role as the wet nurse was not one that was held in high esteem. Same thing with the word witch. We often want to associate or show with witch. There's nothing in Yoruba culture that deals with witches. So I have to even debunk that across the board. Even when we are speaking of the Iyami, they're not witches, and we should never, ever refer to any entity of Orisha worship as a witch. So that gotta cut that out of there. And I know that a lot of people in a lot of traditions will equate the Iyami as witches. And then they will, in addition to that, and say that Oshun is, I guess, a member, a part of the Iyami, and which makes Oshun also a witch. So the word witch, we just need to remove it from our understanding of anything associated with West African Orisha tradition. It has to go because it's inaccurate and it's inappropriate. So it's good to know so that you can rid yourself of that incorrect and inappropriate terminology referring to our spirituality. The interesting thing is the Iyami are an entity in their own right. We don't consider Oshun to be a member of any Iyami group. Oshun is Oshun. She's her own Orisha or own Malay. She doesn't need a group of other Orisha to validate her or her powers. So even to assume that Oshun, it comes from some what they call pataki or stories about Oshun being a part of the Iyami group. No, it's not true. So that's another problem. When we talk about Oshun and we talk about most of the statues or the symbols of the breast and the fullness of the breast, then yes, because we're talking about the motherhood, fertility, so on and so forth, which is definitely a part of it. But I'm going to show you where I pulled these words from. And so basically in listening to this, because I'm going to allow you to listen to something, I pulled these words to just some word. These were just some buzzwords that this lady kept using, or that she used a few times that I thought were interesting in her explaining or teaching about the Orisha Oshun, and it's quite disturbing. But before we go into that, I wanted to go back to something basic because I had someone to ask me about the proper way or the proper protocol for greeting in Yoruba. So just wanted to, just show you. So when these greetings and prostrations are appropriate can be when you are, number one, first and foremost, when you enter a shrine room, or even if you have a section of your house that is a shrine. Now, but mind you, we know that there are some Orisha that we will not physically prostrate to. And we talked about those, and we can mention them here, but when you enter a shrine, because even those Orisha that mostly that you stand to worship, they wouldn't be necessarily in a shrine room. Most of them would be outside, except for Shango. The rest of them will be outside, in the open anyway. But when you enter a shrine room, these prostrations are appropriate. The second reason why you would use these prostrations is when you are greeting a priest. But what I will say is, if you attend an event or you go somewhere, if you don't know that somebody is a priest, then you don't know. So don't do it, because how do you know? I don't care what kind of regalia they have on. They can look like they're the big king of the world. If you don't know that they're whatever, then unless in your spirit tells you, then I wouldn't prostrate them, because you don't know. However, if you are also a priest or a priestess or whatever, then the junior would prostrate like this for the senior one, because age will then take precedence over everything, which goes to my next thing. The third reason why these prostrations are important is when you're greeting your elders. So whether they're initiated to something or not, if they're an elder, then you will greet that person, that elder gentleman or woman, the same way. Another thing, if let's just say that you and someone may be peers in age, but one of you has been initiated to this Orisha or been initiated as a 12 years, and one of you is a priest for 2 years, and the one that has only been the initiated one for 2 years would prostrate to the priest, because the years, the age is always going to matter. Now, I would tell you that because culturally, Yoruba, that age is a very important thing. In a real life scenario, if you had an older brother or an older sister, believe it or not, this would again be appropriate for you to prostrate to this person in this way. And as you see that I have here, it is the male. And so what I tell men is just like the prostration, it sort of looks like the push-up position. Once you get down, you're not actually doing a push-up, because as you can see, your lower of your body is relaxed, is on the floor. So you're not putting strain on this lower part of your body here. There's no strain here. It's actually relaxing on the floor. And then, I always call it a push-up position, because the male is flat all the way out. And so that is what the male would do if he is coming to prostrate before a shrine, a priest, or an elder. So even though in this picture it is a male, it's the only one that I can find with this prostration, this is what the female would do. Female would kneel and their head then touch their head to the floor. Once you tap your head to the floor, you can raise up. You don't have to stay in this position. You can raise up. And so that is how the female usually prostrate, again, going into the shrine, and also to initiate a priest, as well as the elder. So I kind of put both of them here together so you can see them again. As you can see, but in this picture, the young lady has, she's tapped her head to the floor already, and now she's just in that kneeling position. So, but I want to show you something that's very important, because this is a video a couple of years ago when a lot of the military people were coming home and their family didn't know that they were coming home, and they were coming to surprise their family. So they would capture these videos. And so I want you to see this video because I want you to see how deep this culture goes. So we could be thinking in our head, we're coming in and we're greeting this priest or we're greeting this shrine, and it's about Orisha. So this, what I'm showing you now is deeper than Orisha. It's Yoruba culture, and the Orisha worship is just one segment of this culture that we're practicing. But if we're talking about how we respect our elders, like that, those pictures that I just showed you, that just don't apply to an Orisha environment. It applies to Yoruba, West African, Yoruba people as a whole, our ancestors as a whole. This is what they do, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm gonna share this video real quick.
This American hero, home from active duty in the Middle East, hasn't seen his family in almost a year. He's about to give them the surprise of their lives. Look at his mom's priceless reaction.
So I'm gonna play it again.
This American hero, home from active duty in the Middle East, hasn't seen his family in almost a year. He's about to give them the surprise of their lives. Look at his mom's priceless reaction.
So you see, this is a man of he's a Yoruba man. They're Nigerian apparently, and he comes home from the military. And yes, mom excited to see him. He's excited to see his mom, so on and so forth. But before he goes further, he does what he is culturally responsible to do, which is to like he didn't let any of the incitement of the moment, the cameras, what was the inside edition, this is TV. He didn't allow any of those things to interfere with his culture. It's a lesson to be learned from that. And it's just a lesson to be learned from that. He did not allow anything, television cameras, excitement, his mom screaming, whatever, him being this military man, he's a soldier now, he's older, he's a grown man. It's so many layers to that. But he did not allow anything to interfere with it. He kept the root of his culture. It's ingrained in him, it's in his DNA, to the point where when he entered the room and saw his mom, he still did what was culturally appropriate. So, questions, comments, and concern about that before we keep going? Yep, it was beautiful, Milady, I agree. Okay, nobody? So, saying that to say this, and I always give this some of our moms, if we came in and greeted them that way, it would be shocking. And I think maybe if we explained it to them, that the reason why we're doing it, then maybe they will accept it. But technically, that's something that that's going to require growth and progress. But technically, that's how you should greet your parents, your grandparents, or whatever. It just is what it is. I don't know what else to say about it. It's just that fact that it just is what it is. And yeah, of course, if you did it the first time, your parents will probably, or your grandparents, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? Whatever. And you would have to explain to say, hey, I'm practicing this, I'm into this culture, and this is what we do. I want to show you respect. I want to show you honor. It is what it is. I can't see somebody saying, but you never know. I can't see a parent or a grandparent saying, don't, respect me to that extent. But like I said, try it, see how it goes. Yeah. Sometimes I greet my mother that way, and she doesn't think any way about it. I don't even think she noticed it, but yeah. But yeah, that's it. That's how it goes. All right, so no questions, I'll keep going. So that was for anybody that wanted to know what is the proper way to greet when you go into a shrine or when you see a priest, whatever. Just remember what I said about if you go into an environment and you don't know if a person is initiated or not, then I wouldn't go that far if I didn't know, if I didn't have any knowledge. Sometimes what I'll do if I go to a place and I see an elderly person, and because it's public and because they're not my family, I don't want to go into no deep explanation, I'll slightly do like a bow to them. I'll slightly bow so that I'm still giving some type of prostration to the elderly person, and I'll just keep it moving because it just makes me feel better to do so. So yeah, I do it if I in public. Sometimes I'll do it. I'll say I'm not consistent, but I do it sometimes. I just, like I said, slightly just bow to them and greet them and so on and so forth. Which leads to my next thing. Another thing that is important about Yoruba culture is greeting people. And I've probably said this before, and I'll say it again. Why? Because we can't just say, I'm going to pull out the religion part of this culture and all the rest of it is I'm not gonna allow it to matter. We gotta do this as a whole. We gotta do the whole. It has to be full circle, as from a standpoint of practicing the culture. One of the things with Yoruba people, we don't walk past people or we don't come into the presence of people without greeting them. It's rude and it's disrespectful. It's an insult. So it's almost like somebody walking into a room or somebody comes into your presence and they don't speak. It's almost like it's appropriate to ask them, so you don't pray for me, so you don't wish me well. You got a problem with me, so you want me to die. You don't want me to live a long life. So what's wrong with you? So that's the appropriate response, though, if somebody walks into your space and they don't greet you from a Yoruba standpoint. That is why greeting is so important. Sometimes we get in our own way, and sometimes we carry that American ego, and they don't speak to me, I don't speak to them. I don't know them, I don't speak to them. It's inappropriate. It's inappropriate. So just so we'll know what some greetings for Yoruba when we are approaching or come in. So a lot of the greetings are situational, and including the time of day. So some of you know, Ekuro is like saying I'm wishing you blessings in this morning, like basically saying I'm glad that you woke up well, or like you're blessed to have woke up well, something to that effect. So it's not the same as good morning, because good morning is subjective. Depends on who it is and what happened to that person this morning. It's flaky. But if I'm seeing you, sure as you're standing here, it's appropriate for me to say Ekwaro because Ekwaro. I'm exactly. So I'm saying that I'm saying I'm glad that you woke up well this morning, or I pray that you woke up well this morning. It makes sense? Ekwaro. If it's like during the day, you can say Ekuasan, and some people will put it together and just say Ekasan, or you could just say Ekuasan or Ekasan. You could take the U off if you want to, Ekasan. But Ekuasan is easier to remember. It's like any time during the day. Like saying, I'm hoping that this part of the day you're blessed. If you're in place and somebody comes in, the greeting could be Ekuabo, not bo, but Ekuabo. Ekuabo is like welcome. I'm praying that you have had a blessed return, because I've seen you before, whether it's in this world, spirit world, whatever. This is your return because you're coming back. That is how the Yoruba think. The Yoruba don't think that this is anybody's first time around of anything. So everything is continuous. So that's why it's saying like, I'm blessing your return, or I'm welcoming your return. Ekuaba or Ekaba, or some people might say, they'll drop the U and say Ekaba. Or you can say late evening or on to the night, Ekuale. And again, you can always drop this you and go to the next word and just say ekale. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm doing? So I can say ekaro if I drop that you out because of the contraction. Ekasan, ekabo, ekale. If you're going to somebody's house, you can just simply, you don't have to greet by the day. You just say ekuileo or ekuile. Like, I'm giving blessings to this house. I'm bringing blessings to this house. Or if you're going to a building, a place, a house, and people are sitting around, ekujoko. So I'm sending blessings to those who are sitting. So you see, they're more general. So you can either greet by the time of the day. If you come into a house or a building, you can say ekuile. Or if you come into somewhere where people are sitting, ekujoko, you see? And then you can say mofeo dara dara, mofeo dara dara. It's like it's almost like I want you to have well-being. I want you to be good. It's like prayer. So right now it's late in the evening. I would say ekale mofeo dara dara, like I'm sending you blessings in this late evening, and I want you to be well. I want you to be have general goodness. So it's like prayer. So much to say, as I've said before, Yoruba greeting that's what it is, it's prayer. So I don't know if she's not. I'm gonna put this up here. Annotate, getting good at this stuff. So in the Orisa community, all over the United States, you see beads, the first thing they're gonna say to you is Alafia. And if they fancy, they're gonna say She Alafia ni. We've heard that, right, in the streets.
All the time.
So you can understand what they're saying. I'm not saying correct them. I just want you to understand it, to know that there is a place. It's not like the word is wrong. It's not a word. It's just it's out of context. So we know that Alafia means peace. That's what it means. She Alafia ni means is there peace? See that? Or maybe they're trying to say, is there peace for you? Is there peace? So what I ask you is, do you normally walk up to people in your English language and say, peace? Usually peace is a going away greeting, I think. Or do you normally in your English words come up to people and say, is there peace? You do not. So that's why I say it's out of context. Now, if you were sick the night before, or you were in the hospital last week, or if you fell or you had an accident, anything like that, then these would be more appropriate. Alafiani or share Alafiani, because I'm asking you if you have peace, because I am aware that a short time ago you were not in a peaceful state, that you had stress or strife in your life. Does that make sense now?
Yeah.
So it's context. So I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying a lot is just taken out of context. But for some reason, that's what they know, and that's what people are teaching them. But for us, you can just remember Cairo, a Kasan, a Cabo if it's somebody coming and you saying welcoming your return, a Kale if it's late evening, a Kuele if you're coming in the house, which is the one that's the most common, or if you're coming in a building. Just remember Ekuele, Ekujoko, bless those that are sitting, and then you can add Mofe o Dara, Dara, like I want you to have general goodness in your life. So those are some basic ones that you can use. Okay, I'm not gonna go over that Oshun song right now. I'm gonna go to our video. So I have an exciting video. One of you may have seen it already, but when I tell you, y'all see this, Lord have mercy. I gotta call on Jesus for this one. Okay, so I have this video that I want y'all to see. And you know how when the teacher back in the day, some of y'all don't know because y'all young, but it used to be a time when the teacher would scrape the chalkboard scrape the chalkboard with her nails, and it used to make you want to scream. There you go. So this is what this video is gonna do. So this girl that calls herself Black High Priestess wants to teach us about this road that she calls a road of Oshun. And then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna debunk what she says. And I'll cut it. It's kind of long, so I'm gonna cut it. We're at 8 o'clock, so we good timing, but just prepare to cringe as you listen to her, because it's very disturbing. So here goes Miss Black High Priestess. Make sure y'all can hear it.
There. Peace, everyone. It's Black High Priestess. Not sure if it's lagging or not. I don't know if y'all can hear me, but I just wanted to kind of talk to you all today really quickly about Oshun Ogbadag-Badaba. And she is actually an Indian, she is an Indian path of Oshun. She is origins are in India, so she is origin. So there's very little mention of her. I came across this path this year, and you know, like I said, she's Indian, so you can say Oshunok Badak Badagba. You know, she basically, the Pataki of this Oshun is ancient India. There were a bunch of women in a cave with children. And the reason that the women were in the cave is because the men were off to war, or, you know, there was some warfare situation where the men were off to war and the women were kind of in hiding, you know, and it was almost a dystopian type of situation, maybe as a result of the war or after the war, and you know, the stress of the women. But you know, the women, and there were at least 34 women. I'm being told there was at least 34 women, and all of the children that each of these women had in the cave, young children and babies. So this was clearly a situation where women who had recently given birth or new mothers had fled to the cave, you know, for a place to be without the protection of the men in that community. And what happened was, Oshun Ogbadag didn't have any children, but she had very large breasts. She was actually the only woman there who had no children. And as we know, there are some other more mysterious paths of Oshun, for example, Ibu Kole, and the mysteries of Ibu Kole living in the cave. And that having to do with, you know, why some paths or aspects of Ibu Kole are depicted with pale skin. And there's that path of her who gained leprosy for incest. And so that's another reason why Oshun Ibu Kole, who is known to dwell in the caves, that's why some paths of her can be shown with pale skin, very pale skin, because she path known to be in the caves, or more so the witchcraft aspect of Oshun. is typically known as the vulture that burned, the unburnt, or the peacock that flew to Olodumare to petition to bring food down to save the starving humans. And she flew so close to Olodumare, the sun, that she became a vulture, meaning she went from peacock, the most beautiful creature that was on earth, to a vulture, considered the most. Stories of Ibu Kole as the vulture relate to Oshun's beauty coming from her lack of vanity, not the vanity that she's known for, but actually the true beauty that is less talked about, but that deeper aspect of Oshun. So I'm saying this to say that Ibu Kole, within herself, the path of Oshun, Ibu Kole in herself, has Ibu Kole, and Ibu Kole is the path known as the vulture, and that deals with number 5 specifically. My point in saying that is Ibu Kole would be the original aspect of Oshun that is known to be the cave dweller, also known as the witch. So here with Ogbadagbadaba, we have another aspect of Oshun that is a cave dweller, so to speak. So in correlations throughout each of her path, correlations meaning core aspects, the core root of the spirit of the river. So remember, daughters of Oshun who inherit the deeper mysteries of the house of Oshun, of the spirit of the river, of the Orisha and Oma Oshun, Ashe of Oshun. Importance of caves to us as females and how that relates to European witchcraft, and how that Europe and cave dwelling and Oshun being cursed with leprosy, this path, how those things correlate to the witchcraft aspect of Oshun. Back to Ogbadagbadaba. So she basically, this is another Oshun in a cave. At least 34 women, young babies there. She's the only one without children, and she has very large breasts. She has very large breasts. And so what happened was all of the women, basically all were unable to lactate and feed their children. All of the women, so to speak, lost fertility, but more so lost those hormones that deal with fertility. And the women, out of the stress of the situation, of the wartime, of the men being gone or off to war, lost their lactation. And so Oshun Ogbadagbadaba, with the very large breast, her overnight her breast started to lactate, and her breast, she kind of sat like on a stool, so to speak, like a little stump, if you will. Remember, these women are in a cave, in hiding, basically. So, and trying to be in a safe space to rear in the children that they have, these young babies. And so basically she sat on a stump and she breastfed all of the children two by two. And all of the babies, after a couple days, so to speak, actually being a wet nurse and feeding all of the little babies. Each woman brought up her babies, her children to her, one at a time. And eventually a couple of the women had to actually hold Oshun up, because remember, there's just a stump for her, a tree stump, so to speak, for her to sit on as she's doing this. So eventually the women, the mothers had to hold. She became tired, because even as she was tired and falling asleep, she was still supplying and feeding all of the children. Well, when she was done feeding, wet nursing all of the babies, what she did after that, the next night, is she had the women, she had all of the mothers breast milk and drink just a little bit, almost like a potion or a tonic. She had each woman come up and drink some of her breast milk, each of the mothers. And then she took her breast milk and she rubbed it on the breast and the nipples of each of the mothers. So the woman would come drink some of her breast milk, and then she would massage some of her breast milk into the nipples of each mother. And after that, Osun Ogbadagbadaba, she is native to India. This happened in ancient India, during a wartime, in a cave. This is a very, very secret esoteric pataki that, I'm glad to be able to share and embody. And because it has been working for me, and because pray to her enlarge my breast, I wanted to go ahead and share that with some women like me who may be petite, or who, as daughters of Oshun, we're very sensual anyway. So I am kind of talking to daughters of Oshun who may really enjoy your breast area, and especially women who may be flat chested or just really petite, have smaller breasts, who want larger breasts, who have always wanted larger breasts. First thing I want to say is, daughters of Oshun, we appreciate our body, and we have a deep sensual appreciation for who we are in our nature. So appreciate who you are, but understand this mystery of Oshun can enlarge your breasts and give you that pride that a daughter of Oshun may have through having bigger breasts, or give you that pride that a woman with bigger breasts may have, the way a man with a big penis may have, or give you that sense of pride that mothers have when a woman's breast becomes a mother, and that proudness of her fertility that mothers can have. So if you if you are in a virgin state, a maiden state, you don't have children, or you're just you're single, you don't have children, maybe you're more petite as a woman, and you're just interested in the more voluptuous, you're interested in how a woman's body develops when she does become
Okay, yeah, I think that's enough.
Okay, that's enough torture for me. But all right, so of course I've watched this all the way through. Like I said, we're not gonna watch it all the way through. It's a lot of lessons to be taken away from this. Let me go and get her down, because she
a mother, or when she does become older and more mature. And
say, if I heard her say, "Oh, shoot, oh, but one more time," I was going crazy. So ultimately,
oh, she just put this up?
Yes, new. I've watched it. She just put it up. I've watched it quite a few times because I just wanted to make sure that that I was seeing what I was seeing. And so basically this girl has her own, her own understanding, wherever she did her research, I don't know. But it's problematic on so many levels, because you have to understand, like you just said, this is a new video just streamed on November the 21st. And luckily, if you put in Oshun in a YouTube search, she's not the first thing that comes up. But just imagine someone new, or let's just say someone comes to get a reading, and it says in that reading, you need to study more, you need to learn more about Oshun, Oshun worship is important for you. This just comes out in a reading. And, and this person might say, be patient, over time, you learn this, blah, blah, blah. And just, how we are, we're curious. So this person goes home and they search. Let me figure out what this Oshun is. Let me figure out what this diviner is telling me. And they come across this foolishness. Imagine that. And how skewed their understanding of the essence of Oshun is after watching this. So this, because basically, if you keep watching at the end, what she enlightens you of is that if you want large breasts, then you can make appeasement to this Oshun Agba Dagba, right? And you can your breasts will become enlarged. I think you put something on them. I don't know if you have to extract the milk from some other. I don't know how. I forget that part. But anyway, you will make appeasement to this quote unquote Oshun that she's talking about, and you get these miracle made big breast thing, whatever. So a new person coming into this tradition, and they come across this, just imagine the damage that this can do to our understanding of Oshun in our culture, in our religion. And so before I start debunking all this foolishness, go ahead, you all can have the floor. Who has something to say, your thoughts, share.
Yeah, pronounce it for me one more time.
Okay, Oshun Dagba Dagba. Oh, I got it down pat. I told you I seen it 4 times, honey. Oshun. I was like, she said it one more time, I'm gonna punch this doggone screen, but ooh, child, ooh, it's a lie. So any thoughts on that? Like, if that was your first impression, imagine the damage. It's like, cause one would ask herself, what's the point of me worshiping this goddess or this deity? Like, what is the point? Especially, let's say I'm a man. What would be my purpose? I don't want to care for breasts. That's not my, like, how would this be beneficial to me? You see what I'm saying? And then people will go on telling, so, there's this Oshun, this is Oshun, and she helps women have big breasts and da da da. The funny part about this is the funny part about this. I remember years ago, I ain't gonna say her name, but she actually was a Shango priest in Atlanta. I will say that, and we were doing a appeasement to Oshun at a chief's house, and I get everything that was going on. It wasn't, going through. Oshun was not accepting it. And this lady said, and she pulled out her big ass, voluptuous breasts, and she put them in her hands, and she waved them all over the Oshun pots, and
What?
and it was accepted. So I said, either at that point, I'm thinking about that. I'm like, okay, well, Pablo Oshun was just like, at this point, I'm ready to get the hell away from y'all. Y'all, you're done. You can go. But this is it. So I know that these things again manifest in people's mind because it plays out in their worship. Is what I'm saying. Foolishness. So yeah, that part. So now let me enlighten you. Oh, before I go, Omilade was asking about the prostration. So about the woman fully prostrating, like the man, you will see it from commonly of a female Shango priestess will prostrate fully for a Shango like that. But other than that, I've seen women do it. I'm not gonna say it's wrong. I'm just gonna say it's not, it's not culturally appropriate because Yoruba is a gender-based culture. There's some things that are separate, gender separate. So, but if it's a female Shango priest, then it's appropriate to prostrate to Shango that way. Other than that, you see the women do the other prostration. So that's that. So our Oshun that we know, we should understand that our Oshun is one of the most revered Orisa or goddesses among all of the Yoruba deities. Oshun, 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 Oshun. You hear it all the time. As far as the Yoruba town, Ekiti is one origin. I didn't have it on here. Igede, or Oshobo. And Oshobo not necessarily as an origin, but more so of a settlement later on. But Oshobo in Nigeria is well known for its Oshun worship because they were able to, when they started having the celebrating the Oshun festival there, because of all of the good things that Oshun has done for those people in that town, including when there was war with the Fulani and the Muslim were trying to take over. It is their worship to the goddess that saved, that allows them to be able to continue to practice our traditional religion. So they pay homage to Oshun for that reason. They also pay homage to Oshun for the barren women, or women coming or healing, being able to come to that river to, if you wanted to become pregnant or to heal from some type of sickness, or so on and so forth, because it is known that her water is healing waters, or healing waters. So, and when Oshobo started to have this festival, for years it was, you know, small, it got bigger and bigger. And then I think it's, what is it? I forgot the organization that kind of validates a religion and makes it a world religion. UNESCO, is it? I think it's UNESCO. I'm looking it up. UNESCO, yeah. So UNESCO World Heritage. So if you don't know, UNESCO is an organization, it's an international organization. The United Nations started UNESCO, and it stands for United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. And basically, you know, they do different things to preserve different cultures all around the world, but particularly they're the ones that, if UNESCO says that you are a world recognized religion, then you're a world recognized religion. I'm not saying that we need UNESCO to validate us. I'm saying that that's the belief around the world, that, oh, UNESCO say you legit, you legit. And so I can't remember the year. I'm not looking at my history books, but there was a year that Yoruba, there's religion, Orisa, Isheshe, whatever you want to call it, what we're doing, was announced by UNESCO to be a world religion, an official religion in the world among the others. And so when that happened, that allowed the people in Oshobo to start applying for grants and getting sponsorship from the government and so on and so forth to hold this big festival every year. So that's why Oshun Oshobo is so popular. That's why, because of that. But it doesn't diminish the value of Oshun in other places. So some other history. We talk about Oshun, the Irumale. In our origins, in our beliefs, there were 16 male deities that Olodumare summoned to establish life and existence on earth. And Oshun, she was very assertive, very smart. She could, you know, she was a very valuable part of this operation, but the men wanted to exclude her for certain things and said, you know, certain things women need to stay in women's place, whatever. So when this happened, you all know this story, some of you do, she used her power to put a halt to everything until her worth, her value was recognized and honored, and which now to this day, you know, everything that we do, male or female, we have to give homage or honor to Oshun. Just to go backwards, we need to know the difference between Oshun Irumale and Oshun Orisha. Now, what this girl would have been, if I believe or gave any credence to what she was talking about, that would be an example of an Oshun Orisha. Oshun Irumale is mainly, people worship more Orisha than they do Irumale. Strange, but that's how it is. Because Irumale are the deities that were like the first beings on earth. Olodumare, or the creator, I don't want to say himself, herself, itself, whatever. Again, summoned to establish the rest of the world. These are your heavenly dwelling, the deities that are part of this heavenly dwelling. And then as they were what we call reincarnated, deified, whatever you want to call it, in different places, would mean they as human beings, they displayed the qualities of these different Irumale, these heavenly dwellings. Then they became named after that specific deity, and we call those select heads or the Orisha. So the Orisha are actually manifestations or humans that walked earth that were deified to a god or goddess status. That makes sense. But nevertheless, I think what's most common among us is that we worship Orisha more so than anything. And so that's why it gets confusion, because you hear all of these different stories. We call them Oriki, but you hear all of these different stories. And this Oshun would be named this one, the great hair platter. This Oshun would be named this one, the one who, you know, gave me. This Oshun would be named this one. And so sometimes we tend to allow those to blend together as one, when they're actually different deities from different parts of you know, of the world, of the land, or whatever. But nevertheless, it's good to know the difference. But what we know, it is not Oshun, Dagba, whatever her name is. Anyway, so to give you an example of what we call Oshun Orisha, that comes from what we call Oriki. So, or this one actually is saying it's coming out of Oduifa Ogunda Oshe. And it's talking about Oshun, because you will see the mention of this Oshun in Oriki, as well as in song, as well as in Oduifa. So it says that Oshun went to Orumala for reading because she couldn't have children. The Odu that showed up for her was Ogunda She, Ogunda Oshe. Orumala advised her through Ifa that she has to make a sacrifices so that she could have children. Not only her, but for her to be able to send children to all the barren women on earth. So you're saying that this is a deity seeking divination, you see? So she obeyed, and many children were sent to earth in abundance. And hence, that is why we call Oshun Olomoyoyo, the one with many children. So now I've heard someone said, oh, my Oshun is, or my road, they call them roads, Oshun Olomoyoyo, because I'm supposed to have a lot of children. They don't understand. That's not what that means. The only way that Olomoyoyo will even come up as a name for you is if Ogunda She come up in reading for you. Understand what I'm saying? It's not talking about you as a person need to have a whole bunch of children. It's talking about you who may be having struggles with having children, that either you're going to have children on your own if you do the ebo and the proper work, or either you're going to be the link for other mothers to give birth to children. That is what that Oshun Olomoyoyo is talking about. And so again, it requires people to number one, do their research and learn from a good teacher who understands, that can make you understand, so you're not confused like this black high priestess, whoever she is. Just some more things. Oshun is known to be the source. And when we talk about source, and that's where her breasts do come in. So again, to kind of to piggyback off what the lady was saying, we call Oshun the source because her breasts are the source of life. That's why you see Oshun statue, the statue will have big, large breasts, because it's referring to her as the source of life. And that's where, you know, her name may have taken its origin from, you know, it's referring to Oshun, Orisa Osun, Ori Oshun is the source of life. They also refer to her as, they always think of her as the source of all rivers, streams. But again, as I've said here before, Yemaja people will debunk that and say, nope, 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 we the one, the competition thing. But for us Oshun people, we're gonna claim to be the source of all rivers, okay? Also, she can be regarded, I already said, the source of life and all that stuff, so I already mentioned that. But again, so if you hear, I wanna say, if you hear someone says, oh, okay, you run into a Yemoja people, and they say, oh, Yemoja is the source of all the rivers, she's the leader of all the rivers, it's true. So then you ask me, so then how is it true that Oshun is the source of all the rivers? Because I'm a Oshun priestess. So, but when, like for example, if Omilade, or even if I show light on this class, if you ask them, then they will say that Yemoja is the source of our rivers. We can fight, we can argue about it. The best person wins, but that is why you will hear it from different places. It's about like, it's like you're holding your own Orisha to a higher standard. If that's the best way I can explain it. So we talked about Irumale and all of that. I don't have to go from that. This is another story of an Oshun history from Igede, because remember I told you that that's another town where Orisha Oshun, right here it tells you it's a human being, her father and a mother. They had 16 children, was 17 including her. These people were powerful, and so their children were powerful because their children inherited their spiritual power. And so it is said in this story that all of the children had a big fight, and all of them, they just avoid that fighting, they just metamorphosized, they just turned themselves into rivers. And so the Oshun River in Igede is where we worship that Oshun Igede. Then in another town is a story, so that's like an explanation of why if you go to Igede, you see that Oshun River there, and so that's the story behind it. And in another town, we got an Oshun deity. She was a marvelous hair platter, and she used a coral beaded comb to dress people's head. And the comb was said to have special powers, and if the person was angry, it calmed them down. If the person was trying to be successful, the comb that she used to comb their ori made them successful, made them have a good destiny, so on and so forth. And that is why we call that Oshun Olo Yayun, the platter with the beaded comb. So you'll start knowing the differences when you start hearing those names. Say, okay, that must be one of the Orisha, because Oshun Irumale in the heavens, it's just Oshun. We just call it Oshun. You see, it's like that. So I'll give you a second just to process that, to see if you have questions about the difference between the Oshun, the Irumale, the ones that dwell in heaven, the one that dwell in heaven, and then the Oshun, the Orisha. I'm laughing at y'all in the chat. Let me know if I broke it down. We need to go. Let's see what time we on. Okay, we almost. Okay, so Oshun roles in our lives, I'm sorry, is not to increase or decrease our breast size. Oshun is the healer. She is the healer for all of us, and she can heal us in all things. This deity, or the Orisha, the manifestations of Oshun that we worship, they're all there to give us healing. And we all are Oshun's children. You should look at it that way. And I asked, even though here I'm asking you some things, I asked you to jot it down. But anything that you can think of that people would pray to Oshun for, put it in the chat. Based on what you know, what you think, put it in the chat. Let's make a list. I'll start it off. I'm going to do the easy one so I don't have to think. That's for children. What else can we go to Oshun for? Betayo and I got children.
How about mates?
Okay, hold on. I got y'all. And provide. Okay. Somebody said money, and then we got mate. Okay. So mates, a relationship healing. Okay. Okay. What else? Oko, husband, or I don't know, you don't have any markers on it, so I don't know if you're saying husband or penis.
Ooh.
We're gonna say it's the husband. Okay, health, okay. Health, healing, okay, I got health. Just cut, I'm that note now, y'all saying, okay. Okay, I got you. Okay, got you. Okay, all right, so you all can, I'm just gonna do I'm just gonna do like I captivated everything that you guys are saying. Some of it is overlapping, so this is what I said. Because Oshun is a healer for all, I took all of those things and I put it into a healing paradigm. I don't like that word, healing paradigm. I took all what you said and I put into a healing platform. Or like so when we said children, healing in order to birth children or healing in order to provide for our children. Not assuming that we come with all of the answers. Financial healing, instead of just praying for money, praying for financial healing. Or if instead of just paying for a man or woman or mate, for relationship healing, right? Because we don't come into these situations knowing everything and knowing how to figure it out. So we ask Oshun for healing, even from the get-go. Health healing, conflict. When we talk about justice and business and all these things, health healing. When we talk about justice and things like conflict healing, healing from conflicts. Stagnant healing, like is we're stagnant, we can't go anywhere, we want to be successful, we want to be bailed out, whatever the situation, healing in all aspects of those lives. So no matter what it is that you're going through, Oshun's role is to provide healing, because that's what Oshun does. She's a healer, okay? And so when we look at it from that standpoint, it allows us to look at her essence differently. It allows us not to be distorted or disturbed or fooled by, if we here know better. Even if we can entertain ourselves by watching a video like that or reading a book that says something otherwise, as long as we know in this corner that Oshun is a healer, at the core of her, that's what she does. So whatever healing you need, whatever situation you facing, good or bad, always look at it when you're going to Oshun from a healing standpoint. Even if you have money and you're praying for more money, you're still praying for financial healing, because you always want to walk to Oshun as though you are coming to her not only humbly, but also for answers, because you don't know it all. Because when you go into a situation, if you already got it all together, then what do you need me for? That's kind of what this is. So you're always going to Oshun from a standpoint of, I'm coming for healing from this, or I'm coming for healing for that, or this or that. On the same page, are we?
Banny.
Healing for understanding. That's what I'm asking for right there. All right, so now I want y'all to look at like a real quick prayer, or like a oriki from Oshun. It says, Bioniya ba ungunya biko finto shunse. It's hard for me to say it without singing it. Bioniya ba ungunya biko finto shunse. It's a line that means if someone is pounding yams without the knowledge or obedience to Oshun, it will not come out fine. So if you know anything about pounding yams, think of them like a potato, and you have to use the masher to mash the potatoes. And if you don't, if they come out lumpy, the people you're feeding them to, it's not gonna be happy. So I want you to think about this oriki. Bioniya, baungunya, bikofi tochunshe. Bikofi tochunshe. I want you to think about it as if someone is pounding yams without the knowledge or obedience or shun, it will not come on out fine. What does this mean to us?
Yeah, is that over here supposed to be displayed? Because I don't see it.
Hold on, let me see. Where am I? I'm about to read. Okay, you see it now?
Manny.
There you go. Biania, Banguya, Biko Finto Shushe, Baruka, Baruka, Finto Shushe. This is part of a song, and I just took out that part. Someone's pounding yams. Go ahead.
So I would say like how the story goes about how the other Arumale tried to leave Oshun out.
Mm-hmm.
If you try to leave Oshun out of beating yams, then it won't come out right.
Mm-hmm. And what does it mean to us in life, though? Break it down. What can we not afford to do?
Leave Oshun out.
Leave or shown out. No rocket science there. So, one saying we say, "Ati fimo jeto shun." Ati fimo jeto shun. So everybody try to say it. Ati fimo jeto shun.
Say it one more time.
Ati fimo jeto shun.
Afiti mojeto shun.
Ati fimo jeto shun.
Atifi mojeto shun.
You see that? Right here.
Atifi mojeto shun.
It's simple. All it means is that we, Oshun, we have accepted your participation. So in every task that you're trying to do from now on, just pull that little line that Atifi Mojeto Shun. Atifi Mojeto Shun is like you're acknowledging Oshun, we are not leaving you out. We are not omitting you. We are accepting your participation. If I'm cooking and I want my food to turn out well, before I even start that process, it's a quick prayer. Atifi Mojeto Shun. And I'm going on about my business. It don't take you. You got to kneel, go to a corner, fix the offering. You got to do nothing. It's just a affirmation, a confirmation, whatever you want to call it. If you're getting ready to go and drive a car, and you want that car to get from point A to point B, I get in that car behind that wheel. I'm about to leave Bankhead. I'm headed to Buckhead. I teach people Deco Shun. Let me arrive there safely. You see, quick prayer. I'm about to go and do this, and this. When I'm about to embark on something, Atifimo Jeto Shun, let it be successful. Let this happen. I'm going on a job interview. I'm going on a blind date. Whatever. Atifimo Jeto Shun. It's like, Oshun, we are not leaving you out of this because I'm acknowledging that your part in this is important for whatever I'm trying to accomplish, for it to manifest, or to go over well, or to come out fine. Y'all following me on why that chant can be useful to you? Anything you're trying to do, anything you're trying to start, don't matter what it is, Atifimo Jeto Shun. It means I've accepted your participation in this Oshun. Let it come out well. Let it turn out fine. That's all you're saying. Questions? Yeah, good timing. Okay. So just some more Oshun praise names, and I know it's a lot, but if you could just remember Atifimo Jeto Shun, you'll be good. But these are just some other praise names we call Oshun: Oreyeyel or Oyeyel, Pleasant Mother, Omio. It's just it's almost like saying the owner of the how do I say it? The owner of water, Otao, the owner of the sacred rocks and the river stones. Is basically what I'm saying. Edao is like the owner of the brass statues. Agbao is the owner of the sacred drums. Oshun Shegeshe, Ojire is the Oshun that wakes up well. La Iya Iyun, the owner, we call it, or you can short that out and say Olo Yayun is the owner of the African coral beads. Awede Kotowemo is one that you hear all the time. Awede Kotowemo is the one that washes grass before children. I don't quite know what that means. I can be honest with you. I haven't figured that one out yet. Egumba is the masquerade in the calabash, but it's referring to Oshun masquerade, not the Egum for the ancestral lineage, but it's Oshun masquerade. We have Alamo Eretibe, is the mother who does not want her children to cry. Now that one I know because that one is referring to if you want something or if you're having problems, let Oshun carry your burdens. Oshun rather carry your burdens than you carry them. That's what that Olomo Iretibe means. And then Yeye Kare, or some people may say Yeye Jantu, the one who uses brass to nurture her children. I know that Oshun's metal is brass, so I don't quite catch the metaphors for the brass. I'm not an expert on that. But these will be in the recording. What I want you to take away from this is Ati Fimojeto Shun. Ati Fimojeto Shun. Okay, you adding the video, okay. All right, some of Oshun's, the Orisha life's work, divination, of course, cloth dyer, and a cure of ailments, hair braider, in charge of children affairs, assist women with childbirth and child care, listen to and solve human problems on earth. And so when we talk about the Orisha's life work, some people choose, like for example, sometimes you get in reading and say, oh, you should be doing Ogun's work, or you should be doing Oshun's work, or you should be doing Oya's work. Then it's good to know what that Orisha's life work was so that you can decide this is the type of work I should be doing in this lifetime. Like I said, divination, for Oshun, her work, divination, cloth dyeing, healer, cure of ailments, whether it's nurse, doctor, whatever, however that falls, caretaker, medical field, hair braider, charge of children affairs, whether it's teaching, babysitting, running the daycare, whatever, in children affairs, mentoring, anything that can go under any type of child care situation. Assisting children with childbirth, child care, same thing. It could be, you can call it doula. Doula, I think it is. What do they call appropriately? I know.
Doula.
Yeah.
Midwife.
The midwife, a doula.
That's what I thought. Doula and midwife. So those are good Oshun workers. And listen to solve human problems on earth. These might be counselors, therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, any of these type of, occupations. So again, it's good to know the type of different work that the multitude of Oshun handle, because if you're ever told you should be doing this work, those are your choices. Now for some offerings to Oshun. Favorite, Asaro, is the yam porridge. And I'm gonna do another video series of how to prepare the different foods again, so you'll know how to do it. One dish is called yanring, and it's a green leafy vegetable. It kind of reminds me of spinach. But yanring, and you can actually find yanring frozen, I'm sure, in any of these. I've seen them in these African stores around the city if you want to prepare yanring vegetable for Oshun. Eko, I know that some of you have come to me to do ebo. You've seen what we put the first thing we start with is that echo. A lot of people ask, well, what is that? Is it's white. That's what it is, echo. You can also take that and offer it to Oshun because it is a staple food of the ancestors of Yoruba people. Animals, she take hen, she take pigeon, she take female goat. Honey, small amount. Gin, palm oil, I call it Epo here, but palm oil. And then Obi, cola, 5 loaf. What Oshun does not like, don't give her crawfish, don't give her crabs, catfish, male animals, don't put salt, and don't put the black palm kernel oil on Oshun. Now, I'm going to say if you want to just make it's a regular smuggler day. And you just want to just give a small offering to Oshun. You can use gin, honey, and palm oil. Palm oil, basic. Of course, if you divine and get you some cola nuts. But these 3 things right here, they're basic. On a regular day, I just want to make an appeasement to Oshun. Honey, gin, palm oil, simple. The rest of it, you want to do something special.
Yeah, no pumpkin flowers or oranges.
I've seen during the festival, during festival, they will give Oshun oranges, fruit, and things like that. They give Oshun the same thing that they would give Egbe, but I've only seen that during festival. But but just regular, like her foods are real. If you notice, they're not very sweet at all. And then even with the honey, because I know us in the United States, we like to pour honey like crazy. Small amount of honey for Oshun. Not a lot like we see them in the commercials on YouTube and Facebook. Small amount. Now pumpkin, I don't know about pumpkin. And pumpkin, you can now, seriously, you can put pumpkin on your front door to attract money to your house. But just, yeah, because you notice none of this is really sweet except for the honey. Or foods are not sweet at all. Just like Yemoja, same thing, not a lot of sweetness. And this is not me researching this is just me guessing and using my common sense. I think that they use more of your, what do you call that? I think they use more, what do you call it? I don't want to use the word sour, tart, so you know how some herbs are sweet and some herbs are not sweet. I think the reason why, and then you notice the bitter, that's what I'm saying. I think the reason why Oshun and Yemoja use bitter leaves, because these are bitter, because even Echo is bitter because it's like spoiled corn. So I think why they use bitter herbs and so on and so forth is because your bitter herbs are your most healing herbs, if you think about it. If you go and these people who are naturalists or they do all of this natural healing, most of the bitter herbs are the ones that you use to heal your body. And I just kind of a long time ago put that 2 and 2 together to say that that's probably why Oshun and Yemoja use the bitter herbs and the bitter whatever material ingredients for healing properties. That's just what I think. Yeah. I just guessed that. So Eric says he thinks that is true as well. So yeah, I think that's why. I think we almost at the end. Well, let me clear all my, I don't know why it won't let me clear it all, but anyway, get out of that. All right, so I talked about earlier about Oshun's metals are brass. That's her favorite metal, brass, not gold, brass. Brass is a very soft metal, as a matter of fact. And if you shine it well enough, it looks gold, but gold is not her metal. Brass is her metal. Beads, her beads can be yellow, they can be green, they can be blue, they can be white. Her cloth can be yellow, can be green, can be blue, can be white. Oshun likes fans and cloth. Those are the things that Oshun likes, or Oshun worshipers or Oshun priests will adorn themselves with brass. You can see they have brass bangles. They may have beads on, the colorful cloth, yellow, green, blue, white cloth. And you see Oshun people like to carry the fans in their hands. Nope, no mirror. Mm-mm. You know, that girl in that video started saying something about vanity. And I was like, okay, whatever. But yep, that's that. All right, so let's start. We up for questions. Let's see, we at 9:01. Y'all have me for like, I'll say 10 minutes.
Yeah, this is Eva Tokode. Hello, everyone. I have a question about prostating. I know that we went over the two main ones that you pointed out. Thank you for that. But I've also seen, like, you know how you go up to a priest or elder, you go and you kind of like squat and touch the ground. Is that wrong?
Yeah, I don't know why they do that.
Mm. But have you seen that? You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And that's not Europe. That's not a sheshe then, basically, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay, thank you.
Nope. I really don't
Yeah.
know why they do it. I don't even know why they do it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, this is Ife Tayo.
Right.
There's something that's called kunle, where they just go down to the knee, both knees.
Like this lady on this picture.
Right, yeah. It's called kunle, and they do it in Africa. I've seen it done a lot, where women will go down to their knees in front of their elders or in front of the priests or priestesses.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
it's called kunle.
Kunle, dobale, but with kunle, when it's because the dobale is the full one. The kunle, where she's talking about, still before they end in kunle, normally they will touch their head to the floor like this, and then they will end up in this position. When then the elder, they will give them some type of prayer, and then they will get up. Some are like, so there are ways that you can partially prostrate a person. So if a person, let's say if a woman, um, she doesn't touch her head to the floor, but she only kneels on her knees. It's not inappropriate, but it's not showing full respect to the elder. There's another video that I saw recently where it shows I wish I could find it now, but it shows this progression, and the little boy's name was Tunde, and when Tunde was a little boy, Tunde would greet his grandfather fully like this. Every year that Tunde became older and he became more, interacting with people of the world, that prostration would be, it went from him prostrating fully to him kunle, what we call it, to him eventually just walking up to his grandfather like, hey, yo, what's up, and not even doing anything. And so the story behind that is, over the years, we have eliminated the full prostration because of the diminishing of the culture from, over time, or just people coming in and deeming for themselves that this is not necessary. I will say this is the kunle, this is what we should do, but I will say that this is acceptable because it's modified, and as long as an elder don't say anything to you, you can do this. But if you want to do it appropriately, go all the way down to the floor, touch your head with the floor, and then come up and you can be in this position until you and the elder exchange whatever, communication, and then you raise up. You see? Because you wouldn't, just to be clear, you would not stay in this position the entire time that you are in this elder's presence. Once you've greeted them either way, then either if it's chairs around, you will get up and sit in the chair. Most of the time, they'll give you permission to sit down, or you may sit on the floor, on a mat, whatever. But after you've done your proper greeting, then it's allowable for you to take a seat, either on the floor or in a chair, or whatever is there is available and appropriate.
Yeah, what about a wife to a husband?
Yeah, it's appropriate. In the morning, when you wake up, you would greet the husband with the this greeting. And so the question that will leave is why the wife to the husband, not both? Why not? I don't have an answer. But I do know the wife to the husband that yes, this is the proper.
Yeah, what if the wife is older than the husband?
I'm not quite sure. I'm just telling you what I've seen. I've always seen it wife to husband. I've never seen a husband greet his wife in this way. I've never seen it. So I can't speak on it. I'm gonna tell you, if I don't know something, I'm gonna tell you I don't know. I don't know. Yep, I don't know. But I've never seen a husband greet his wife in this manner. When you get a chance, if you don't mind, ask a lawyer and see what he says for clarification, because I really don't know the answer to that one.
But when we talk about age, yeah, we initially say that age is the leading factor as to being humble toward those in the culture. So that's why I asked that question. But I'll ask him and see what he says.
And I know that is so when it comes to age, but I think it changes in the dynamic with husband and wife. I just don't know the reason why. I know it's the norm and it's the culture. I just don't know why specifically. And I think in this situation alone, because technically you got to think about it. There's again, this is why it's gonna make sense. Because in Yoruba culture, men don't marry their mama. Men, it's only American men that marry women that's 10 and 20 years older than them, because the men looking for security marry older women or they date older women. In Yoruba culture, that's not heard of. It's not. You're a genuine Yoruba. I'm not saying genuine. I'm saying a pure Yoruba man that adheres to the culture is not going to marry no woman older than him. It's just not going to happen. So I think, and I'm just assuming why it would never be a husband dobalaying to his wife, because in Yoruba, you don't marry a woman older than you. It's just not heard of. You marry a woman, mostly women that are younger than you. Most of them won't even marry a woman their age, because their goal is to get a wife so that they could have children. Because remember, if they can afford it, or if it's something, if whatever the stars align, when that woman is no longer childbearing age, or she's done, then you get another younger wife to produce. So it's always younger. So I think, Ife Tayo, that's the answer. Is that it's never a need. That's American culture. Because even now, the younger boys in Yoruba land, and I'm sorry, y'all, we just talking now. So if anybody need to go, you good to go unless you have questions about anything we went over today. But hold on, because it's a good conversation. But let me say this to everybody. I want you to take away from this, for those of you who have to go. Number one is, when I say be careful of the books you read, be careful of what you find on the videos, be careful what you're looking at on the internet, this was why. This is what this lesson was intended to teach you, is that the best place for you to learn this information is from someone that practices this tradition, someone that's already did this, has studied, someone that's traveled, and someone that has a teacher. That's the best way, because when we start relying on these YouTube videos, this internet, these books, and etc., this is how we get confused and misled about what our culture is, what our Orisha, who our Orisha are. That type of video is a prime example of why our people become confused and our brains are distorted. So, saying that to say, everything you read, see on TV, see on the internet, even everything that you learn in this class, question it and go and study and learn for yourself. Because, from a reliable source. If I'm not reliable enough, go and learn from somebody that is reliable enough, because this is how we get confused and misinformed in our culture. So that's the overall lesson. So if, like I said, if you have to go, you're free to go, because we're just having conversation right now, but about a cultural difference. And I'm saying this, I'm not saying this being judgmental, because I've had my share of younger men, but younger men don't do that. But now what seems to be happening is the young guys in Yoruba land are seeking out older women. They're catching us on the net. I know of one personally. I'm sorry, don't let me lie. I know of two personally. And I'm going to say both of these women, they were past 60 and the boys were in their 20s. So you ask yourself, what you want with this woman? She not about to give you no children unless she Janet Jackson or somebody got the miracle drug. She don't need no children. She probably gonna, she living out the last years of her life. I'm just being nice about it. So why you know what I'm saying? Green card, money, whatever. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not heard of. It's not normal. So yeah, so that's how I would answer it, Ife Tayo, is that because it is an age thing. The woman is gonna be younger than her husband. Okay. Green card, yep, pay. Exactly. So for December, now this is what I thought. For the next 2 Thursdays, I'm in the United States. And so I was thinking about just cutting the fee in half for December and only obligating myself to those 2 classes. So we only pay for half of the month of December, and we have 2 classes instead of 4. Now, while I'm in Nigeria, I'm quite sure the time is gonna come where I'll be bored and I want to jump on here. And if I jump on here to do class, if everybody's available, then fine, we'll do that. I just don't want to guarantee it, because if I can't log in for any reason and the Wi-Fi is not working, then I won't be able to do it. But I definitely would do it, and we'll still stick with paying the half fees. I also like that idea because it's the holidays, and not everybody has broken away from that celebrating those holidays. People got money to spend, so again, that's where I'm going with. But like I said, sounds good. So I mean, if anybody is opposed to it, just like, hey, because my other option was to do the full month of December, but like I'll do 2 classes this week. So maybe Wednesday and Thursday. Then next week we have to do Wednesday, Thursday to get our 4 classes in. But I mean, I don't mind, but I'm just saying I want to do what works for everybody. Okay. So if nobody opposes, we'll go with it that way. And like I said, when I'm over there, I'm quite sure I have some time to jump on and do some classes. So, and we'll, do at least do one. We'll meet or something, even if it's just to school y'all, chime y'all in on what's going on over there in the motherland. So that's it. So that's what we're gonna do. So I'll give y'all the code. I'll put the code, the discount code in the chat for y'all in the Bring Central chat so y'all will know what coupon code to put in. Oh yeah, I will. I am. Anybody have anything else before we go?
Yeah, this is Ifa Toko Day again. I just
Yeah.
have a comment / question. So I remember like when I was new to the culture and I would see like elders or priests out and I would try to do the respectful thing in terms of prostrated. What they would always look at me like I was embarrassing them, like I was crazy. Like if I saw them like outside of like an Orisha type environment. Do you feel like in that, like if you saw somebody like, for example, like in a mall or something, just do like a regular, just like fast bow instead of doing a whole prostrate because that's just not appropriate because we live here in the diaspora?
I think it's okay to adjust. And here's the reason why I'm not opposed to adjusting to it. It's a few reasons. Number one, like you said, like let's just say we're in an open, let's say we're in the mall, the grocery store, even in school. This happened to me. Well, you know what? I'm gonna tell you what happened at Maze. What's the Orisa Osun? She's I can't think of her full name, but she's Orisa Osun. She was substitute teaching there, and so when I saw her walking in because I know her from a mile away, and I'm walking behind her. So I started slowing up my tracks because I was like, I'm in a situation. Am I gonna fully? I'm gonna kunle. I'm going to respectfully greet this Oshun priestess, or I'm gonna avoid her. And so I said, well, we're in the school, children, adults, nobody understand what's going on, so I'm gonna do the avoidance. I walk slow. So I gave her some time to get in the building, So I'm thinking, so by the time I walk in the building, I don't see her good. I go clock in. When I go down my hallway to go to my classroom, there she was. So it was like I was in that moment. What do? I did the proper thing. I fully greeted her fully. And so but when I did it that first time and I saw people looking and I saw people, wondering, but I really didn't. At that moment, I didn't care. And so after that, every time I see her, I would just fully greet her properly. And she didn't mind and I didn't mind. And we just left it at that. Now, the other way I look at it is that if you're in a space and people don't understand or whatever, and you don't want people questioning you, and you don't want people, it draws so much attention to the situation, then you can if you have to do something, modify. Like I said, if I see an older person, I just want to greet them, but they wouldn't understand if I went to the floor. I just bow. I bow the top part of my body, like my head, and my shoulders. I bow, kind of, what do you call it, like a curtsy to them or something. I don't know, like just a bow, like the top, just allow the top region of my body to just bow to that person. And from the outside looking in, that doesn't look as strange as if I got all the way down on the floor. So that's why. And then I also look at like a mall or in public. I keep saying the mall, but any public place, you know that I've seen people that will see owls on the streets, even in Nigeria, and they would, depends on who it was, they would fully prostrate or they would just, again, modify because nobody wants to put their head on the street. But if the king came out to that street, people would be on the street concrete and wouldn't think nothing about it. So again, it depends on the person, depends on the situation, but I guess to answer your question, I would say modify it. Now, if you modify it, right, and the person got a problem with you, oh, you didn't fully prostrate me, I wouldn't. Now, this is just me. Don't listen to me, but I wouldn't give a damn. You be in your feelings because I'm gonna do what makes me feel comfortable. That's my answer. Do what makes you feel comfortable.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, that's it. Anybody else?
So yeah, based on what you just said, I'm gonna go back to the video that you showed us, which I thought was awesome. The guy coming in, not really caring that, he knew that was probably going to be broadcast all over the world. in front, whomever, and he still did the appropriate thing that he was supposed to do before his mom. In the culture, I think that when in doubt, I would say do the appropriate thing, because you're honoring not only just the wisdom of that person, but you're also honoring the Orisha of that person as well. So that's just my 2 cents on that one. I have a situation in my job environment. There is this guy. He's actually a leukemia priestess, but whenever he sees me, and he knows that I've been initiated to Ifa. Whenever this man sees me, I don't care where it is in the government center, he lays right on the floor. It's in the building, outside the building, wherever. And he doesn't even know me like that, but because he knows I have been initiated to Ifa, he gives respect to that. So
does it make you, are you comfortable, or does it make you feel?
Well, because of how I feel about the tradition and how I feel about what I believe, it doesn't make me feel bad at all. It doesn't make, I could care less what people think, honestly, because people are going to think whatever they want to think regardless, So I think it just, shows the respect that we all have for this way of life, period. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, that's why I said, once I, like, at that moment, like with the EI, I was uncomfortable. I was just like nervous about it. I really was. And then I just did it. And like I said, after that, I ain't have no problem anymore. I ain't care, nobody never asked. That's interesting. Nobody ever asked me, like, why do you put your head to the floor for this old lady? So nobody never asked me, so I never had to explain it. But I'm sure eventually, because especially the teachers began to understand that it has something to do with my tradition. So, but like I said, it's just one of those things where you have to be comfortable. But I also see it as, hey, this is a part of our culture, and just like you said with the video, the message there is just like, hey, when this culture is ingrained in you, it's not gonna matter anymore. But a lot of us have to grow into that comfort. What I will say for the new people that's here is that if nothing else, when you enter a shrine, make sure you greet properly. If nothing else, men do your full prostration, women do your, this one right here. I say if you enter an Orisha shrine, salute the Orisha, because that's what you're saluting in that shrine room. And also in Yoruba land, when you come into the house, the ancestors are buried under the house. And so you're also greeting and honoring those ancestors who have gone on. We are the only ones in other cultures that bury our loved ones away from our house. Somewhere off in the in the land somewhere. We have to get in a car and drive to go and visit them. But that's our culture here, our American culture. Yoruba culture, somebody died, they're getting buried up under their house, and those shrines are up under you actually. That's why you remove your shoes when you walk into a shrine room. And we symbolically do it here in the United States. And some might say it's not necessary, but then we can also argue that, well, there's a lot of Native American cemeteries we live on top of, and we don't know where they are. So whatever the case might be, whatever your argument might be, just know why you do these things. You remove your shoes for the respect of the dead that are buried beneath the house. That's why you do that. That's why you enter the house, you take your shoes off and stuff like that. So, but those people, like I said, who are new, when you walk into the shrine, before you sit and start handling your business, women this, men that. And once you've prostrated, you've done your full prostrating, then you can sit up and sit down, whatever. Just make sure you're doing that. It's a learning curve. So we know better, we do better.
Yeah, can you show the female version again, please?
Right there. So, and then, Generally, you start like this, put your head down, you come back up. But this is like you're touching your head to the floor. And then you just sit back up. So you get down on your knees like this, touch your head to the floor, and you come back up in that same position. Anything else?
Yeah, this is Ify Topode. I'm sorry with bombarding with questions. I just have a question, one last question.
Go
So,
ahead.
interesting phenomena that I find, since I've been initiated to Ify, like when I greet other priests, and I don't understand why they do this. This is my question. Like when I try to do like the modified bow or whatever, they bow back to me, even priests that are like more senior to me. What does that mean? I don't understand that. Does that make
Probably it's probably out of habit.
sense?
Well, so for example, like you also have to understand here in the diaspora, in the Orisha community, we don't know each other. So whereas in Yoruba land, they're all from everybody in that town, everybody in that compound, they know their families. My family know your family, so I would know you. So I know your age. I know everything about you. I was there at your initiation. I know who you're initiated to, so I know how to properly greet you, what to say when I see you, blah blah blah. Over here, we don't know each other. We don't know. We don't take the time to know each other personally because we're Americans and we still live that American lifestyle. So if I see you, you may look 30, but you could be 50. I don't know. So if you greet me, I'm gonna greet you back. And it's also it's just among the Egbe, you will see that where Oshun people or Oya people, whatever the case might be, Ogun people in an Egbe, they may greet each other. They may do some type of, I hate to call it bow, but greeting to each other because they're in the same egg bay. That can be a reason. The other reason is over here we don't know each other. We don't know much. I don't know what your initiative to, what your age or whatever. So it's proper just to cover myself. You greet me, I greet you equally. If that makes sense.
Yeah, this Ife Tayo,
Thank you.
that was a really good question because whenever I go to Aloye, I do the proper greeting to Aloye. Then he bows to me, but I think it's because I'm 55
Mhm.
and because I'm older than him. It's like
Yeah.
I greet his wisdom in Ifa and Obatala, but then he greets me in my age. So sometimes, yeah, it's probably because I mean I don't know how old you. I don't want to put you on on that. So this, I don't want to say that you're old, but I am. So I think that's kind of why people do that to me. I used to wonder that myself too.
Yep. Age and then so it's appropriate. So in that case, it's appropriate. It's like a two-way thing. We have to greet Oloye because he's a chief. First and foremost, he's a chief. And then, like you said, you could be greeting his years of knowledge and studying of Ifa. But then he also greets you because of your age. You see what I'm saying? So those are times when it can be reciprocated. One of the things, like I said, I'm not holding y'all. If y'all need to go, y'all can go. One of the things that irritates me the most is that, again, if we don't know each other and we're walking around here on some of the same streets, it's just puzzling to me why on social media I'll see elder, even initiated people, but elder people greets younger people as Iya or Baba. I can't stand it. Like, why? And I be want to say, why the you calling him Baba? You older than him. You old enough to be his grandmama. But that's what they do, and it's because we have this. We so far removed from the culture, and especially in that. That's when that gender inequality comes in, because no, anytime a man gets it, it's funny how when a man is initiated to Rumala, he's automatically going to be referred to as Baba. But when a woman gets initiated, You have to damn near break somebody's arm for them to call you Iya. It's like you see this 25-year-old
Yes.
Babalawo and the 40-year-old woman talking about baba. What? I don't do it. I don't call none of them niggas baba unless I know they older than me. Period. Boo.
Yeah, I had somebody get upset with me for not calling them Baba. I'm like, I'm gonna call you Baba. You 30 something. I'm old enough to be your grandmother. And you want me to call you Baba? Really? Okay, all right.
I don't do it. It's inappropriate. Like I'm older than you. What am I call you? You ain't my father. You're not qualified to be a father to me. I'm not gonna call you Baba. It's just that it's no disrespect, but it's just like I see it all the time. It's like, and there's one in particular, and she does it all the time. Baba, yeah, I be like, lady, you hit 90. These people in their 20s. Don't greet them like that. They should be greeting you, and they sit and then they don't correct them. They allow it. So it's just one of my pet peeves. But anyway, that's my. Woo, yeah, I see that all the time.
Because it becomes ego ear and not a love for the culture.
Exactly.
A love for the culture would make it right. Like when I see a lawyer bow to me, I'm like, you've been doing this for 20 something years, but his love for the culture is what, makes him do it regardless, so we have to get past that ego thing.
Yeah, ego is tough, rough, man. I don't get it, but it is what it is. They ain't calling no 20-year-old ER Baba, and I ain't saluting them either. I ain't doing it. They can grow a mustache and gray hair and be 35, and I'm not gonna greet them. I'm not gonna call them my Baba or ER. Nope, not doing it. If you don't know a person's age, it's proper you can say, oh yeah, OYA to a woman. If you don't know a woman's age, you can call her oh yeah. That's oh yeah, the deity, but oh yeah, he like it's like saying, like you're not giving that woman a age. And that's something that the O has a dot. Oh yeah, the dot under it. So that's why when you may be hearing like, dang, if you go to Nigeria and they'll keep calling you Aya, 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 and you're like, why are they calling me oh yeah? No, they're saying Aya. They're calling you a woman and they're showing you respect without giving you an age. It's like how, how it's like some American women don't call me ma'am. It's like that. So I say oh yeah instead of iya. Iya symbolizes some type of age or stature. So, but it's 9:33. We have ran out of time. I will see you all next Thursday at 7:30, and I'll make sure I put the code in there for y'all.
Okay, see you then.
Okay, hold on.